YouTube, B Smokehouse back here with you. Today we're going to be doing a ham for Easter. Today is the Monday before Easter. Let me show you what I have so we can go ahead and get this brine together. I'm getting a bit of a late start on it. I got some cardamom pods, orange juice with pulp, local honey, molasses, pink salt, of course, that's what gives ham its texture and color. I've got cinnamon, star anise, allspice, and cloves. Brown sugar, white sugar, bay leaves, cumin seeds, salt, in this case this is Morton's kosher salt, whole red pepper flakes, and peppercorns. That is a medley, so white, red, and black. Stay tuned. Alright, I've got all of my spices here. My heat is turned up to a medium high. We're going to get these spices moving. I know these are toasted when that aroma is coming off there. The whole purpose of this, I can smell it already. The whole purpose of this is to get that aroma flowing, those oils released, so then they can release themselves into our actual liquid, our moisture. So we're going to sit here and mix. Some of these things will start popping, that's fine. What you don't want to do is scorch them, because usually if you scorch these, you put these in your liquid, you're going to be able to taste the burnt or scorched spices. Smelling pretty good. Smelling those whole cumin seeds. Star anise, that's cinnamon. Looking good. Stay tuned. Let me go ahead and get this going, and I'll bring you back for the next step. Alright, now, only thing I've done is added a gallon of water. Remember, the ratios for this brine mixture that I'm using, it's based off a gallon of water. Right? So now the only thing I've done is add my see those bay leaves in there. Now we're going to go in with the other ingredients. So this is white sugar into the pot. Again, this is simple, guys. I got my pink curing salt into the pot. Now you don't have to use pink curing salt. However, your times as far as when your ham will be fully cured may vary. Now, I'm a big proponent of using other things that brings nitrites and nitrates into the party. That is what also helps in curing this piece of pork we're going to do. You guys have heard me speak before about celery seed. They're packed full of nitrites and nitrates. You can use those. You just need a whole lot more to replace that pink salt. Now we're also going in with kosher salt. A little bit over a cup kosher salt. Looks like a lot because it is, but we also have a gallon of water here that's going to soften the blow of that salt, but help us get that ham flavored to the bone. Again, that's a little bit over a cup of brown sugar. That's light brown sugar. Then I'm going in, I don't really have any oranges, so I'm going in about a cup of orange juice. We're going to give this a mix, bring this to a boil, and then we're going to pull this off the fire. The whole purpose now, what you want to do is get all that salt. Get all that salt to absorb into that water. The purpose of this brine, we're trying to infuse flavor into this piece of pork. In my case, I'm making a ham out of an 8.5 pound pork butt. Didn't want something too big because, like I said, I'm kind of under the gun. You know, I probably should have started this Sunday and let it go till Friday night, pull it out, put it in my fridge Saturday morning, let it get a pellicle, season it up, and on to the smoker I go. Of course, I'm going to be making a glaze for mine. I like doing hams this way because you can really tap in your own flavor instead of buying it from the store. Now, there's nothing wrong with store-bought ham. However, this is what I'm doing this year. Any other year, you might catch me double smoking an already cooked ham and making an awesome glaze for it. I don't know what glaze I'm going to make currently, and I probably won't make the glaze until probably Saturday or so. I think one year I did a pralines and a pecan glaze. That was a hitch. That went out without a hitch. Everybody loved it. So now we're going to let this come to a boil, and I'll bring you back for the next step. Alright, I got my briner bucket. I've put about a gallon of ice in there. I don't know what that is. Out of there. Alright. This is my briner bucket. This is made for brining. Alright. So now I'm going to take my brine, the hot brine, and pour it over the cold ice, cooling my brine. I'm going to set you down. Alright. Here's the only thing we've done. I got it in there. You can really smell that citrus. I forgot to mention, in that cup of orange juice, I've also went ahead and there was about half a cup of apple cider vinegar in there. Give it a good mix. And this is good to go. I'm going to prep that pork butt and get it on in here, and this will go in my fridge. I may or may not give it a turn. The good thing about this briner bucket is that it keeps all sides of the meat in contact with this brine. Right? You guys might be saying this is a lot of ice. It is a lot of ice. However, you never want to go and put a piece of meat, raw meat, in hot liquids. You're going to start cooking your meat, and then it hinders the actual curing process. Let me get this pork butt ready and submerge it. I'll bring you back then. Stay tuned. Alright guys, here's what's going to become my Easter ham. You can see I got it from Albertsons, of course, and it's right at 8.5 pounds, 8.46 pounds. Now just remember the measurements I did on my salt. So the pink salt and the kosher salt was based off the weight of this. Alright. Technically, as far as a brine, I could have stopped at brown sugar, white sugar, and kosher salt and pink salt, right? I didn't have to add anything else, but I mean, we're doing a piece of pork that's going to be turned into a ham. All those flavorings, herbs, and spices go with the pork. So let's go ahead and get this open. I doubt I'm going to do any real trimming to this. And what I'll do is when I pull it, the day I pull it out of the brine, I will go ahead and trim off any uglies that I don't like. However, trying to get maximum yield on this. So, but I didn't want a larger pork butt. I wanted something that'll be done in a reasonable amount of time. So here, like, yeah, see, I'm gonna get rid of this. Have to. All right. I might go ahead and get rid of this. It's gonna come off or burn anyway. So we're just gonna cut it across there. I think that's about it. I'm gonna do. This will be saved. I'm gonna save this for sausages. I'll be making sausage here. I got me a new stuffer, so that's some new videos to come. Got some other scragglies. Key is to not cook portions of this pork like this. It's only gonna burn. No one's gonna eat that, right? I think that's gonna be about it. The bones in there. I'm not going to mess with this fat. If you don't know, ham could be a bit dry. I see some gristle here. I don't like that. Don't want nobody chewing on that. Get that off, that's gristle. I think that's going to be about it. Let's round this off. I like the amount of fat on here as well. We will do a bit of rendering. I'm not going to cook this until, I mean, you can actually make a pulled ham. That's not what I'm doing. So I'm going to cook it. I'm going to cook this to maybe about 190, 195. That way we can get some nice slices. I might still pull some, but the majority of this is going to be sliced. Looking pretty good. Pretty small. This is a money muscle here. It's pretty small. Alright, so I'm going to take this and set it into my brine, and I'll bring you back. Pork butt now rests in the brine. This is where it will rest for the next 5 to 6 days. I'll bring it back when I'm pulling it off, preparing to put it back in the fridge to get a pellicle. I'll see you then. Alright. Ham has been cured for right at 5 days. if I hadn't mentioned this before, using the cure that I used, you want to cure 1 day for every 2 pounds. This is right at 8.5 pounds. So a little bit over 4 days, right at 5 days, is good to go. So what we're gonna do now, as you can see, we got some allspice berries. We need to get that off of there. Nobody wants to bite into that. And any other stuff we can find, we're gonna pull it off there. Now, you might ask, how do I know that the brine actually worked? Well, I know because I can tell that this protein has been denatured, right? I can look at the meat. The meat is a totally different color. The hope is that this has worked its way down to the bone. The brining guidelines that I use, which is what I just told you guys, 1 day for every 2 pounds, should have gotten this brine down to the bone. So we're gonna dry this off, and this is going to go into my refrigerator for the next day to help it further dry out and form a pellicle. The next time you'll see me with this, we are going to season it up and get it out on one of my mini smokers. Let me finish drying this off. The reason we're putting this in the fridge, we want that cool air to aid in drying this out, right? So I can sit here and pet all day. I've still got moisture coming out. I can see it as it comes out. Now my refrigerator out in my garage, it's pretty cold. In fact, the refrigerator freezes probably better than the freezer. So I can tell this is firmed up as well. The meat's firm. It's definitely a lot firmer than it was before it went into the brine. So we're gonna finish drying this off, and then this is going to go into my fridge for the next day. Nothing else. That's pretty much it, guys. Let me flip it over. You can tell. Look at the different colors. It wasn't like this when I put it in there. So that's one way you know that your brine worked. Has a lot to do with what that brine did to the actual cells inside of the meat, right? We'll finish drying this off. That's gonna be about it. I can tell you what, that brine smells awesome. I smell the citrus from the actual orange juice. I can smell the coriander, the allspice berries, the black pepper berries, because remember they were toasted, so then those oils work themselves into that brine. It's the purpose of doing this. And now I can tell that those flavors are going to be inside this ham. All right. It's not every day that you see a pork butt turn into a ham, but that's what we're doing. I want to do something a little different. I'm sure there'll be other videos on YouTube of people doing raw hams, right? Green hams, as they're called. All right, I think that's going to be about it. This is going into my refrigerator for the next day. The next time you guys will hear from me is when I'm pulling this out to season it and I'm getting a fire started. Stay tuned. All right, here's the ham. So it's been in the fridge for a day. Here's what we're gonna do. I've got 2 rubs here. That Meat Church Honey Hog, and I've got the rest of some Heath Riles Honey Rub. That's what we're using today. I'm going to flip it over. As with any other meat that I'm doing, guys, I'm going to season the underside first and hit the presentation side last. I'm still going to smoke this fat cap up just like I would do anything else. However, this is going on my pellet smoker. I'm going to get some rest tonight, guys. I don't plan on waking up every 2 or 3 hours checking this. So I'm going to start it off low. I might get up in a few hours and bump up the temp. And I'm debating whether I am going to double smoke this or not. Really want to. However, at this point, I don't know if I have enough time. Tomorrow's Easter, the big day. Gonna get that in there. Now we're gonna hit it with some seasoning. Notice I didn't use too much. Again, this is a mixture of pickle juice and mustard. that is my binder. We're going to use up the rest of this Heath Riles rub. That's it for that. Now we're going to finish it off with the meat church rub. I used the binder because this has been sitting in the fridge drying out. Really isn't any moisture on the skin. Alright, so this will attach to that pellicle. Towards the end of this cook, I will be glazing this. Haven't figured out which way I'm going to go. I'm thinking about making a glaze from some apple crownroyal that I have, along with apple juice. A little different, plus apple goes with pork. Definitely will go with this ham. So I don't know which way I want to take it yet, but got more than enough time to think it out. Alright. Now we're going to get some slather here. Again, guys, this is really no different. The only difference in this than cooking a regular pork butt is that this has been setting in a hammy brine to make it a ham. That's the only difference, but it's still going to get cooked the same, except in this case, because I wanted to pick up some of that good smoke. That's the whole purpose of forming a pellicle. It's going to set at a lower temperature on my Pit Boss Pellet Smoker and pick up all that good smoke. Notice I'm patting, not rubbing. That's going to be about it. Don't want to overdo it. I'm still going to want to get some glaze on there. This has nothing on it. And that's going to be it. Stay tuned. I'll bring you along with me when I throw this on my smoker. Guys, want to show you the setup for tonight. This is my Pit Boss. I think I maybe have used this once on the channel. As you can see, it needs a cleaning. The inside's clean, but I don't clean that glass every time. Alright, here's what we're looking like. So that is the ham. I hit it with the meat church honey season. I'm running water in my pan. That is hot water. And then we are running B&B pellets. I believe they're oak. So right now I got this on my smoke setting, which is about like 150, 175. We're gonna let it smoke for 2 hours in those low ranges. Let this, because it's still wet, pick up a lot of that smoke, and then we're gonna come out here after 2 hours and boost that temperature. I'll be back, guys. I plan on getting some shut-eye tonight, and shut-eye I am going to get. Stay tuned. Alright, guys, it's been about 10 hours. And I know we're sitting at 155, 160. And here's what we're looking like. We got some good color. Remember, it's a ham, so it's not going to look like an actual pork butt with the built-up bark, right? So what I'm going to do, because I am going to double smoke this, I'm going to go ahead and pull it, let it cool down, set it in the fridge for a few hours, then throw it back on and start hitting it with glaze. Stay tuned. Alright, guys, making my glaze. In here is 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of apple juice. I've got a splash of apple cider vinegar. I've got 1 cup of brown sugar, and I went with a half a cup of this here. I think this will really complement that ham and that pork. And then the only other thing I gotta add is my crownroyal, and that's gonna be my glaze. Stay tuned. All right, this is the second part of that double smoke for my ham. I've got a mixture of Kingsford Blue Bag and Royaloak lump charcoal in here. Still coming up to temperature. We're gonna bring this ham back up to temperature slowly, and then as my heat builds, I'm gonna start glazing. Start glazing this ham. Looks good, it smells absolutely delicious. It's giving off all those hammy flavors. I like where we're at. We're gonna heat it through and then start the glaze. Stay tuned. All right guys, so this is like hour and a half, right at 2 hours. We're gonna start our glaze. Again, this is a glaze, this is brown sugar, crownroyal Regal apple juice, and a little bit of a I believe it's habanero cherry barbecue sauce that I turned into a glaze. Should complement the flavors of this pork. Real nicely. Put that on there. Alright. Now I'm going to come back probably every 15-20 minutes to do this for a total of like 2 or 3 times. Get it back on there. Let that glaze tack up. I'll be back. Alright, it's about that time. I'm going to get my gloves on and we're going to go ahead and get this up off here. Let it rest. I might wrap it so it's still warm before we serve it. Today is Easter. So this is going to be our meal. I like the way this cook went. I've never made a ham before, but I have worked with pink salts and curing meats. So, I mean, there was a learning curve, a slight learning curve, but at the end of the day, I think this was really easy, and I will be doing this again. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this off here. It is heated through, and there you have it. Let me give you guys a look at what we did. I definitely appreciate you guys. Definitely appreciate you guys for sticking through this cook with me. I think it's gonna be quite delicious. Stay tuned. All right. So this is the ham for Easter. Remember, this was an 8.5, right at 8. I believe it's like 8 pounds, 8.47 pounds. Pork butt that I took and brined for 5 days. In that brine, of course, was a gallon of water, followed also by a gallon of ice. In there was star anise, cloves, cinnamon, bay leaves, salt, of course, and pink salt. Again, that's what turns the inside of a ham, processed ham, pink. Now, I did not go and traditionally get a leg of pork, right? I did what I had, this pork butt. So as I search through some of the videos on YouTube, I see that it's quite common for people to utilize a pork butt to make a ham. Now, setting that brine for about 5 days. Again, we brine to about, I believe it's every 2 pounds equals a day in a brine. So that's a little bit over 4 days, right at 5 days. All right. So after that, it's set in the fridge for a day to form a pellicle. The pellicle is a secondary skin that allows smoke to adhere, right? So after that, I took it out. I hit it with some a mustard binder. Mustard and pork go really well. Then I hit it with some honey hog meat church, as well as another rub that I had left over. Throughout the duration of this, I did not spritz. I felt like I probably should have spritzed with apple juice. I did not, right? Because it was already going to be sweet. And I knew that the colors derived from this would be coming from the other items that I was using that had salt in it. Plus, in the brine, there was salt. So that's where some of this color is actually coming from. Let me move my lighting over so you guys can get the depth of color in this. It smells absolutely delicious. In my fridge, you could tell it was actually ham. The smell was hammy in flavor, right? You can smell that star anise, that brown sugar, that cinnamon, that nutmeg, that clove. You can smell it. All your Easter / Christmassy flavors. I'm smelling it right now. Now, I'm not gonna break this thing down right now because I'm waiting on my guests to come over. I am gonna slice a piece off, and this is gonna go into my oven that I have warming at 175 to stay warm. What else? I absolutely appreciate the help, the assistance that you guys have given me on my channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm only going to cut a end off of this, right? Let's get in there. Oh, yeah, there's ham. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is one of the reasons I did not cut any of that fat off. I like that, and it helps to keep the meat juice. You can look at the juice running out of that. Absolutely delicious. I haven't even tasted yet. I'm getting ready to saliva on myself, guys. My saliva's running. Look at that. Looks absolutely delicious. Can you see that? Looks good. That outside is tacky and sticky, right? Let's see what we got. Just falls apart. That's absolutely delicious. And that's probably one of the best pieces of ham I've ever had. That's good. You get the brininess, the saltiness. You got that brown sugar, that white sugar in there, followed by honey. That is good. And, you know, traditionally the ends of these pork butts are usually dry. This is not dry. That was one of the ends, guys. That is actually delicious. That fat is delicious too. I love the fat on you know, most animals. Some people tell you, hey, cut the fat off, but I think in this case, you want a moist product, you leave that fat on. Hey guys, thank you for sticking with me through this cook. This is a banger. I've seen other guys do this on YouTube. I promise you. You know what? I didn't even talk about the glaze. So that glaze was crownroyal Regal apple mixed in with some Blues Hog raspberry chipotle, a cup of brown sugar, some apple cider vinegar, and some apple juice. I let that cook down until it's absolutely thick. It'll coat the back of a spoon, and then I use it as a glaze. You're getting all that sweetness. It's not overly sweet though, because that brine is in the background. This is absolutely delicious. More than likely, the following years to come, I'm going to be making my own hams. Maybe next year, I get a leg of a pork. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. B Smokehouse out.